So ADU update.
We need to start working on our financing.
We're about 2 months away. We are in building department waiting for permits.
So we had spoken to a lender previously, but when we found out we were at that point, we were probably still 3 months away from getting approval. So we kind of put a stop on the financing, but we probably need to start working on that again. And some of the different options we talked about were getting a HELOC, a line of credit, so it leaves the original loan alone, and it's more like almost like a bank account where they put a certain amount of money into that account and you can draw on it for a certain amount of time. The one that we were looking at was a 5-year draw period. But that is at a higher interest rate. Much higher interest rate. So that's one option. Second option was to do a second on the property we're doing an ADU on. That one was like at a 10% interest rate.
It was high too.
It was also higher. And I think that one was a little bit more of a more difficult process. And you can do that second, there was a bunch of different options, but the second was one. The third option was to do just a straight cash out refi. And for most people who have a really low interest rate, that's not a good option. But for us,
our rate on that purchase for that investment property wasn't all that great. I mean, I think we were at like
the high 6s or something.
Yeah. So we're almost to like what market is today, right? Yeah. So to us, and then we also talked about like a building, like getting a loan for construction loan, which I mean, I'm sure some people have different opinions of those, but I think if you can avoid that, like those seem a little more painful to me in that you have to like work alongside the bank as you're doing your construction. So they're coming out and walking the property and inspecting and telling it, it just seems like painstaking. I've had a couple people who have used them, and through the building process, it seems a little rough. So for us as of now,
that's probably not
the option. I think probably the cash out refi will be, again, probably the best option because our rate isn't that great. So that then we just pull that money. But what we don't want to do is pull it too soon.
Right. And then start paying interest on something that we're not using that money for. So, and just so you know,
rates start paying on anything.
Right. Rates have come down quite a bit because when we first talked to the lender a couple months ago, that cash out refi, because it's not our primary residence, the rates are higher. So that rate was like 8 something. And when I emailed him last week or the week before, they're down to like 7.25, 7.5, something like that. So if you got pre-approved for anything a while ago, you should talk to your lender again because rates have come down and that'll change your payments quite a bit.
So we're still in the process. We're almost ready to pull the trigger, but that's where we are currently in our ADU saga.
Saga.